Hello and welcome. Today we are in the new Tier 7 US battleship, the Florida. She was given to me by Wargaming. And out of the new battleships, the American battleships, I think the Florida is the best of them tier by tier. But that's actually not that unsurprising considering that most of them seem to range between poor and mediocre. And also unsurprisingly, the Florida is the fastest of them. In fact, she resembles a North Carolina or an Alabama the most. She is fast, well, faster than the dreadnoughts or super dreadnoughts. She goes over 28 knots actually. And she has a good turning circle, 760 meters, a rather long rudder shift, but considering her turning circle, it's okay. Effectively, she is maneuverable and she is fast enough to do the things you expect from a battleship. She also has 12 guns. However, these are 356mm caliber guns, not 380s or over 400mm. This does make a difference because, as you saw, the enemy team has a Gneisenau, right? The Gneisenau has 380mm caliber guns. These can overmatch 25mm of armor, whereas the Florida's guns cannot do that. So effectively, you're fighting other ships more like a Fuso or a New Mexico, rather than, Tier 7 battleships usually do. So if you meet, for example, a Pensacola or a or a New Orleans or, I don't know, even another Nagato or other Tier 7 battleship, then you cannot overmatch their bows, whereas if you had, the guns like a Colorado or a Gneisenau, then you could overmatch them, and you could simply go through the bow even if they angle towards you, whereas the Florida can't. And that is actually quite a downside. It also means that you don't have the greatest amount of AP penetration. However, when it comes to damage per minute numbers, the Florida is actually doing quite okay because, while she does have a longer reload than the Colorado, for example, it's not this kind of out there longer reload like the new US battleship line has. Those with their 40-second reloads. This is more like 35, which is much more manageable in my opinion. She does get defensive anti-air like the other new US battleships though, which is quite nice to have. And on top of that, actually her anti-air is really good. Like the numbers themselves, they already look better than I think the Colorado does. And then you add defensive anti-air on top of that and it gets even better. Now you might look at it and go, oh my god, she has a lot of range. Well, actually, her range is about 18 to 19 kilometers. I think it's 18.8. But because it's a US battleship, you don't have anything to put into the third slot unless you're going for secondaries, which I don't think makes much sense. Also, she's still a battleship, so she does absolutely overpen paper armor ships like the Emily over there. That was a lot of overpens, and unfortunately, that means she probably gets to torpedo me, but as you can see, my maneuverability is excellent, and I can simply just turn away in case she did actually torpedo, although it appears that that wasn't the case. The Florida does not get the improved heal that the other older US battleships do. So Colorado's, for example, takes for 0.66% HP per second, whereas the Floridas will take the normal 0.5% per second. And this does make a difference in tankiness. On top of that, Florida actually does have one pretty big downside. And she has a raised citadel compared to other US battleships. It kind of reminds me of what the US battleships used to be. So if the Florida does show broadside, then she can absolutely be citadeled, at least. I mean, this example right here, it just took 14,000 damage. Chances are that I was citadeled by one of those shells there, because Florida's citadel does sit above the waterline, and at least I didn't notice there being any kind of amazing turtleback or anything like that, which means that this ship can easily be punished by battleships that get her broadside. However, due to her maneuverability, perhaps it's not that big of a concern. And I mean, we're still talking about almost 300mm armor plate. At Tier 7, that's quite significant, and quite a few battleships will not be able to make that shot that she actually meets up against, especially the lower tier ones with their smaller guns. And so maybe it's not as big of a downside, but it's still a downside. So effectively, the Florida feels like she's kind of a glass cannon type battleship more than like a super tanky one. But I mean, considering that she actually can move around the map, perhaps it's okay. But for me, the greatest downside of this ship is her gun caliber. 356mm at tier 7 just feels lackluster. It's fine when you're in tier 5 to 7 battles such as this one, but when you move into tier 8 and 9 battles where basically all cruisers will have 25mm bows and sterns, it ends up being a huge problem. Because those cruisers can simply point their bow at the Florida, and the Florida simply can't do anything to them. Because they're obviously going to out-DPM the Florida, and if you can't go through the bow, you cannot really settle them. And it gets even worse if those cruisers actually end up pushing in, because you just can't do anything to them. And when you do show your side, some of them are even going to just citadel you rather easily, especially since your citadel sits higher in the water. And I think that's going to be a huge problem for the Florida. So while she might be the best of the new battleships, of the new American battleships that is, I still don't really like her too much. I mean, she feels nice to play, especially in these tier 5 to 7 matches. I've had a lot of fun with her, but I think that's mostly due to matchmaking. I mean, you do get some nice situations like this one, with a Nürnberg reversing 6 kilometers in front of you, but this isn't like something that happens every day when you're gonna play this ship. Mostly you'll just kinda end up in matches where you don't do all that much. I mean, you can obviously just long-range HE spam, but you're not very effective at it. You would be better off with, I don't know, basically anything HE spamming there. But if you're gonna be a tier 7 in a tier 9 battle, I guess sometimes you have to make the hard choices. So yeah, overall I don't really like this ship much. I mean, the camo looks amazing, the Golden Eagle camo. Like, this is a really amazing camouflage, I think. But even that isn't quite enough to make me really want to play these ships. One thing that I will give the new US battleships, not the Florida, the other ones, is that they're hard to citadel, and they seem to be rather resistant to HE and lower caliber AP, which is something that I find really nice. Sadly, the Florida isn't one of them though. And so perhaps I even like the other US battleships more than the Florida because of it. However, if for whatever reason you really want to play a tier 7 US battleship and you don't like the Colorado or all the other Dreadnought versions that are just too slow, then, well, obviously the Florida is going to be your only option, because it is a faster battleship. It is a North Carolina style battleship in this sense. Just the gun caliber isn't quite there, but it does make up for it with the extra guns that you have. I don't think it's quite worth it, but I mean, it's still something. Better than sailing around the map with your 23 knots speed, right? Because when you do have speed, you can actually push when necessary and disengage when necessary. Oh, is that an Abruzzi at low HP and a Nürnberg at low HP? Oh, this looks like a double strike waiting to happen, doesn't it? Come on, Abruzzi, let's go. And now, the Nürnberg. Oh, come on, I didn't sink the Abruzzi. That's really unfortunate. Damn it, I was hoping for a double strike there. Oh, well, apparently I couldn't even sink the Nürnberg, so I guess there wouldn't have been a double strike anyway. Wow, that was an utter failure. I don't think I can blame the ship on that one. Maybe we can just blame RNGesus here, but it definitely didn't seem like the ship was at fault. Okay, let's try again then, though. We fired 2 turrets onto the Abruzzi and then 1 onto the Nürnberg. Okay, finally, we got the Abruzzi, so there's that, come on. And Nürnberg. Double strike. Excellent. Now we can... Actually, I don't know what to do now. I mean, we've been winning quite hard this entire game. The enemy just wasn't really up to the task, I think. But I am fairly low. I am at 12k HP. I do have 2 heals, but 30 seconds until the next one is quite a while away, and That is an Iron Duke heading towards me. On the bright side, though, it's an Iron Duke, so maybe I don't need to worry. If I could actually sink that Iron Duke and then ram the whatever is stuck here on the... Never mind. I can't ram the Leon because she just died. Okay. You know, I actually did a lot of damage to that Iron Duke. Maybe I should just try to save my shot until she ends up showing me side, or the situation ends up being slightly better. Because if I fire right now, I might not do all that much damage. And I mean, as long as I don't fire, the Iron Duke won't actually be able to turn away to try to shoot me. At least not with all the guns. Also, that was completely calculated on those friendly torpedoes. Okay, our Nicholas went away, but that's okay because we're winning hard enough that it doesn't matter. Come on, Iron Duke, show me some side. Which is getting low. No. We can't let anybody else get this kill. No, it's mine. Mine. Goodbye.
Enemy battleship foundered. Our victory is inside.
See? This is how you get kills, okay, in this game. Oh, and that's a Scharnhorst. Sadly, we're reloading though, and it might take a while. And she might end up taking a lot of damage before that happens. Although maybe not. Oh, is that the CV coming? Well, the ship does have good anti-air. And we absolutely need to shoot planes down because this is gonna... I don't even have 4000 HP. I can't get hit by these torpedoes. Okay, I think we can go between them. Yep. Here you saw the amazing maneuverability of the ship. That was perfect, and we shot down all the planes that, you know, flew over us. So there's no second strike. And I think chances are we're gonna survive this, especially since I have a heal coming up in a second. Oh! And that's a Kraken Unleashed! That, you know, this game was actually pretty good. It didn't look so good at the start, but it ended up going pretty well. And now there's actually a CV as well. Can we do that as well? Although I guess the cap zone is gonna be the priority, right? Ooh, CV is right there. You know, I really should have launched my scout plane here to actually get a better shot. You know, because I have all the time in the world to aim. But for whatever reason I decided not to. I can't really explain it. Oh, and we got a high caliber as well. Damn, we're getting every achievement necessary. Okay, come on. Aw, she disappeared. Damn. Come on, can we get her respotted again, please? Please? It's 15 seconds. The shells take some time to actually fly to the target as well. Oh yeah, this is also the time when I realized that I could have just launched my scout plane. But I had completely forgotten about that. Oh, is that the CV again striking? I think the CV is too close to the rocks now. But the game ended anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, this was a pretty great battle though. And I mean, it shows off the strengths of the Florida rather well. In tier 5 to 7 battles, she feels really powerful. Like, she feels the type of ship you would like to play. I think if more lower tier ships were this kind of nice to play, like quality of life, like fast traverse, maneuverable, armor-wise okay, and all that stuff, I think more people might want to play lower tier ships, but I'm not entirely sure. But we got the Confederate, double strike, high caliber, Kraken Unleashed, basically everything. Oh, look at that! 2,224 base XP, and the York on my team got 2,007 base XP. Just below me. But this was a pretty amazing battle. Look at the... Wow, I took a lot of damage here. Yeah. Maybe I actually didn't take a Citadel from that Gneisenau, because he did hit me with 4 shells. Oh well. Whatever it is. Here you can see the camo closer up again. It's still the same camo as on all the others, but these are the Cat skills I used. Priority target, expert marksman, then superintendent, then concealment expert. Also, you don't actually need Halsey. Then adrenaline rush, fire prevention, and basics of survivability. Next, I use these upgrades, propulsion mod obviously, then the range upgrade because the other three don't make any sense, then damage control, and last main arms modification 1. So overall, I think the ship's okay, and if I have to play a tier 7 battleship, she would definitely be one I would pick. But I don't think she's like amazing or anything. So it's a standard 25mm bow, 37mm deck, 26mm side armor plate actually. And here is the Citadel. I was kinda confused, I thought there was like an extra armor plate here at first, but no. This is actually the Citadel armor plate here. And it sits above the waterline, quite significantly above the waterline. And it's actually on the outer edge of the ship too. Which means that there's no special shenanigans involved. I mean, we can compare it to the Colorado, right? Look, this is literally waterline. Compare this to the Florida's, significantly above the waterline. This is gonna make a big difference, but I think if you keep in mind that that is your Citadel, it's not going to be too bad. So yeah, it's overall playable. The armor is what you would basically expect from a US battleship, maybe slightly worse in terms of Citadel protection. So as a tier 7 US battleship, I think she would be quite okay. But when it comes to all tier 7 battleships, I would say she's about average. But she's definitely better than the other new US battleships. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support. And I hope I'll see you guys next time.